Welcome back guys, Ben here, and today we are checking out new games coming out in April 2026. Looking like a really interesting month for new games, and honestly, I think this is the biggest edition of this video series we've done. There isn't really one single massive release dominating everything this time, but there are loads of smaller and mid-sized titles across survival, RPG, horror, sandbox, and story-driven games that could end up being really strong if they land well. We've got everything from cinematic sci-fi adventures, survival crafters, and hardcore survival shooters, to the indie puzzle games, roguelites, and sandbox RPGs, and there's also a few big DLC releases in there as well. There's definitely a lot to keep an eye on. As always, all the games are PC titles coming to Steam, as we are predominantly a PC channel here, and they have prices where known at the time of writing as well. These prices will be in £sterling unless otherwise stated. Release dates and platforms are included if known, and a bit about the game and what to expect too. Appreciate you taking the time to check this video out, so sit back, relax, like, comment, subscribe. Got a lot to get into, so let's get started. Starting off with Aphelion, a cinematic sci-fi survival adventure set on a frozen alien planet where humanity's last hope may depend on a dangerous expedition far from Earth. You play as an astronaut stranded in an extreme environment after a crash landing, and the game focuses heavily on exploration, survival mechanics, and storytelling rather than fast-paced combat. From what we've seen so far, this looks like one of those slower atmospheric experiences with a big focus on environmental storytelling, realistic movement, and managing things like oxygen, temperature, and stamina while navigating the terrain. The world itself looks absolutely stunning as well, with huge icy landscapes, storms, and abandoned research structures to explore. It's being developed with Unreal Engine and definitely gives off vibes similar to games like The Invincible, Deliver Us Mars, and even a bit of Death Stranding in terms of tone and pacing. It's coming from Don't Nod, the team behind Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden, and Jusant. No pricing is listed on Steam yet, although the Xbox Store is showing the Day 1 edition of the game available for pre-order for £28.56, so expected to be around the ballpark when it releases. Speaking of which, Aphelion is currently set to release on April 28th for PC, Xbox, and PS5, and this feels like one of those that could end up being a really strong, story-driven survival experience if it lands well, and it's a great way to close out the month. Next up is Road to Vostok, which a lot of you probably already know about if you follow hardcore survival games, because this has been getting attention for a long time now, and one I've featured on the channel previously when exploring a couple of the previous demo builds. This is a single-player survival shooter set in a post-apocalyptic border zone between Finland and Russia, and it's going for a very realistic, very unforgiving style of gameplay. Think Escape from Tarkov, but solo, slower, and much more focused on immersion and survival rather than multiplayer raids. You'll be scavenging for supplies, managing hunger, injuries, and equipment, and trying to make your way deeper into the zone without losing everything you've gathered. One of the interesting things here is that the developer has been very open about the development process, showing updates, mechanics, and systems as they're built, and it's clear their goal is realism first, not accessibility. It's all built by a solo dev who is also making this entirely within Godot, and is getting some impressive results from that engine, it must be said. It's currently planned to launch in early access on April 7th on Steam, and it'll be priced at €14.99, which includes a 25% launch discount as well. The demo is still currently up on Steam as well if you wish to check it out and see what it's all about. This feels like exactly the kind of game that would fit very well on my YouTube channel, and if the systems are as deep as they look, I'm very much looking forward to checking this one out. PRAGMATA is finally here, and this has been one of the weirdest and most mysterious games announced in the last few years. Originally revealed by Capcom a long time ago back in June 2020, it's since been delayed multiple times to 2022, 2023, 2025, and now it's almost here. In a bizarre twist, they have actually brought this one forward a week from the 24th of April to the 17th of April, so I guess we can say it's slightly undelayed. But what's it all about? This is a sci-fi action-adventure set in the near-future world with a very strong cinematic style and unique take on the combat and exploration. You play as a space-suited character called Hugh, exploring a space station on the moon alongside a young android girl called Diane, who wields some kind of advanced AI or android abilities, and the gameplay seems to mix exploration, combat, and then puzzle-style mechanics. Capcom have got a PRAGMATA sketchbook demo on the Steam store where you can check it out, see the opening of the game, how it runs and plays. I did cover this on the YouTube channel as well and really enjoyed what was there, and it ran really well, and it looks very impressive. It was just very impressive all round, really, to be honest. As I mentioned previously, PRAGMATA is scheduled to release on 17th of April on Steam, Xbox, and PS5, and it will be £49.99 for the base edition and £59.99 for the deluxe edition. This includes numerous outfits, gestures, as well as some in-game artwork and skins, if that's your thing. This could easily end up being one of the biggest releases of the month, and Capcom is on some kind of generational run at the moment in 2026. They've had Resident Evil Requiem, Monster Hunter Stories 3, Twisted Reflection, all releasing in the last couple of months to great applause. will PRAGMATA follow suit? This next one has one of the strangest and longest names this month, but Vampire Crawlers, the turbo wildcard from Vampire Survivors, looks like it's taking that addictive chaotic roguelike formula and pushing it even further. If you've played Vampire Survivors, you already know the idea. Various enemies, constant upgrades, ridiculous builds, and that feeling where everything starts completely out of control in the best possible way. This time though, it's turned into a dungeon crawler of sorts, but with familiarity in characters and tongue-in-cheek humour from the Vampire Survivors universe. Weapons and relics like the whip, garlic, and spinach are back with new mechanics to fit with the new gameplay in this deck-building dungeon crawler, which, from the demo, you can pick up on Steam. It was very, very addictive. Just like when I first picked up Vampire Survivors, I got that same replayable, kind of just one more go feeling. It looks very arcade-like, very replayable, and exactly the kind of game that's easy to pick up, but hard to stop once you get into it. It's currently set to release on April 21st on Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch, and it'll be £9.99 at launch. If it captures the same magic as Vampire Survivors, this could be a sleeper hit. Lay of the Land is one that really caught my eye because it looks like a mix of survival, base building, and exploration with a very grounded, realistic style. You're dropped into a remote wilderness environment and have to build up your shelter, manage resources, and survive the elements while slowly expanding what you can do. From the footage so far, it looks very focused on immersion, cutting trees, building structures piece by piece, managing tools, crafting gear, and dealing with weather, hunger, and fatigue. Although visually it has that Minecraft blocky aesthetic, it focuses more on physics and gameplay, with gravity being a big factor, and buildings seeming a bit more freeform, and you've got curves and clear glass panes and that kind of stuff. These kind of games usually live or die on how good the systems feel, but if this one gets it right, it could be the perfect game for cozy long playthroughs where each new adventure is fresh as it uses a new procedurally generated world each time you begin a new game. No confirmed price yet and no demo available either, but Lay of the Land is currently set to release on April 8th on Steam. Cthulhu, the Cosmic Abyss, looks like a proper Lovecraft-style horror experience with a heavy focus on atmosphere, investigation, and psychological horror rather than just action. You'll be exploring strange locations, uncovering hidden stories, and dealing with things that probably shouldn't exist, all while the game leans into that cosmic horror style where you're never really sure what's real and what isn't. You're an investigator of the occult sent to an abandoned mining station in the Pacific Abyss, which has gone dark and is no longer responding. Visually, it looks dark, eerie, and very detailed, and the tone feels closer to games like Call of Cthulhu, Amnesia, or Layers of Fear, rather than something fast-paced. This is definitely one I'm keeping an eye on personally, as it looks fantastic, and I'm eager to see how it plays and what that narrative and puzzles are all looking like as well. No price listed yet, but they have announced that there will be a Ryla edition, don't know how you say that, but that will have a side quest, art book, and soundtrack, but no pricing details for either currently at the time of recording. Cthulhu, the Cosmic Abyss is currently planned for the April 16th on Steam, Xbox, and PS5. Darwin's Paradox is a puzzle platformer adventure where you play as an octopus trying to escape from a mysterious food factory. The game mixes stealth, platforming, and environmental puzzles as you use Darwin's abilities like camouflage, climbing, and squeezing through tight spaces to survive. It has a really nice stylized look to it and reminds me a bit of games like Inside or Little Nightmares, with that slightly dark but still very colourful world design that's going on. There's also a demo available on Steam right now if you want to try it before release, which is always good to see. Darwin's Paradox is releasing on the 2nd of April, priced at £19.99, and is coming to Steam, Xbox, PS5, and the Nintendo Switch 2. Spark in the Dark, an action RPG dungeon crawler with a dark fantasy setting and a heavy focus on exploration, combat, and survival. You'll be descending into dangerous underground areas, fighting enemies, looting gear, and trying to stay alive while uncovering the secrets hidden beneath the world. It looks very much like it takes inspiration from Diablo, Dark Souls, and other hardcore RPGs. It's focusing on slower combat and a more methodical approach rather than fast arcade action, and it's meant to be absolutely brutal. From what I've seen so far, the atmosphere looks great, and the demo on Steam gives you a good idea of the tone they're going for. Spark in the Dark is releasing on the 7th of April. There's no price confirmed yet, and it is coming to Steam with that demo available right now, as I said before. People of Note is a smaller and more experimental title, but one that caught my eye because of how different it looks. This is a narrative-focused adventure with a strong emphasis on music, characters, and storytelling, rather than combat or traditional gameplay systems. It's like a musical Clair Obscur. It's got the turn-based RPG elements and interactive moments during the turns, but you're recruiting an ensemble of musicians on your quest for stardom. The demo available right now is about 90 minutes long, which is actually quite a generous amount. It gives you a good time to get into the world, the dialogue, and see the overall style of the game. It feels like one of those titles that's going to be more about the experience and the atmosphere rather than the difficulty or mechanics. Being published by the guys over at Annapurna Interactive, and they have a keen eye for the good stuff. They've got Outer Wild, Stray, Journey, Neon White, those kind of games on their catalog, so, you know, they know what they're looking for. People of Note releases on the 7th of April, no price confirmed yet, and it's coming to Steam, Xbox, PS5, and the Nintendo Switch 2, and there is that demo available right now. Samson is a third-person action-adventure with a darker tone, focusing on combat, exploration, and story in a myth-inspired world. From the trailers, this looks like it's aiming for that AA style experience, somewhere between an indie and a big studio release, with a focus on cinematic presentation and heavier melee combat. It's got that strong GTA energy, or dare I say even Driver or Sleeping Dogs kind of vibe going for it. Hopefully it's at least a bit better than that Mind's Eye from last year. There isn't a demo for this one at the moment, but the current price on Steam is listed at $24.99. That usually works out around £20.99 with Steam regional pricing, so this should sit in that mid-price range rather than being a full AAA title. Samson releases on the 8th of April and is currently planned for Steam only, although they did say they are planning console versions later if all goes well. The Occultist is a first-person horror adventure where you explore a mysterious island filled with supernatural events, puzzles, and strange characters. You play as a paranormal investigator trying to uncover what happened in the past, using different tools to interact with the environment and solve puzzles while avoiding whatever is hunting you. This one looks very much in the style of games like Amnesia, Visage, or Layers of Fear, with a slower pace, lots of exploration, and a big focus on the atmosphere rather than that combat. There is a demo available right now which gives a short look at the gameplay and the tone, and so far it looks pretty promising if you like those horror games. The Occultist releases on the 8th of April and it's coming to Steam, Xbox, and PS5, although there is no price confirmed at the time of recording. Seth is a fast-paced roguelite FPS that blends sci-fi with Egyptian mythology, and this one looks much more action-focused than some of the other indie titles this month. You'll be moving room to room, fighting waves of enemies, picking up upgrades and abilities as you go, and seeing how far you can make it on each run. From the gameplay, this feels very similar to games like RoboQuest or Afterblast, that quick movement, tight shooting, and roguelite progression where every run gives you new weapons, perks, and builds to try. It looks chaotic in a good way, lots of enemies on screen, a strong arcade feel rather than anything slow or story driven. There is a demo available on Steam right now if you want to try it for yourself as well. Seth releases on the 10th of April and is currently planned for Steam, but there is no price confirmed at this moment. Oceaneers is a survival crafting game set out on the ocean where you'll be building, exploring, and trying to stay alive while traveling across the water. From what's been shown so far, this looks very much in the style of games like Raft meets Don't Starve, especially when it comes to the art style here, but where you're gathering resources, expanding your base, and dealing with whatever the world throws at you while you explore further out. There is a demo available right now on Steam if you want to try it before release, and the gameplay looks like it leans heavily into that relaxing but still slightly dangerous survival style. If you're interested, I had covered this earlier on the channel as well, so you can find that over on the YouTube channel at ProRogueBear as well. Oceaneers releases on the 13th of April, no price confirmed yet, and it's coming to Steam. Replaced is one of those that a lot of people have been waiting for. This is a cinematic pixel art action platformer set in a dark sci-fi world, and visually this game just looks very, very nice. Every time it shows up, it just looks incredible. The animation and lighting style has been that really detailed, almost rotoscoped look, and the combat seems to mix platforming with melee fighting in a very cinematic way. There is a demo available, and the game is also confirmed to be coming to Game Pass at launch, which will be good news if you already have a subscription. This has been on the radar for a while, so hopefully this release date sticks after already being delayed previously. This was a fun experience playing the demo during the recent Steam Next Fest, and fans of the 2D side-scroller genre with a sprinkle of Blade Runner vibes here means it will be in for a good time. Replaced releases on the 14th of April. There's no price yet, but it's coming to Steam, Xbox, and Game Pass. World in the Abyss is an underwater survival game set in the future where aliens have caused the oceans to rise, plunging the world into chaos. You'll be crafting, exploring, and building up a base beneath the surface while trying to survive in this new hostile world. What makes it stand out a bit more is that it's not just pure survival and exploration. You'll also need to defend your base against waves of enemies while diving deeper and deeper to uncover the secret that might stop the alien invasion for good. So it's got the underwater survival appeal, but with a bit more pressure and combat mixed in as well. For me, it seems like a bit of a mix of Sunkenland, If Sunsets, and a bit of the roughness of Rust. Visually, it does look a lot like Sunkenland from what I could see on the trailer. World in the Abyss releases on the 15th of April and is currently planned for Steam with no demo and no price confirmed right now. Valorborn is a living medieval fantasy sandbox RPG where the world keeps moving with or without you, and it sounds like the kind of system that could be really interesting if they manage to pull it off. Factions rise and fall, the world changes around you, and you're free to shape your own path through it rather than follow one fixed role. You can become a thief, a hunter, a sellsword, travel alone or with a party, and explore a fully enterable world where every building, cave, and road might lead to an opportunity or danger. So rather than being a fast-paced action RPG, this sounds much more like a slower sandbox RPG, where choice, role-playing, and the simulation side of the world are the main draw. Valorborn releases on the 15th of April and is currently planned for Steam. There is no demo and no price confirmed at this moment in time. Mouse, PI for Hire, is easily one of the most unique looking games this month. This is a first-person shooter styled like an old black and white cartoon, and honestly the easiest way to describe this is it's Mickey Mouse mixed with Doom. The whole game has that rubber hose animation style, but the gameplay itself is fast, chaotic, and very much inspired by classic shooters. It's a really strange combination, but it actually looks like it works, and every trailer for this has looked better than the last. Definitely one of the most interesting indie shooters coming out this year. Mouse PI for Hire releases on the 16th of April and is coming to Steam, Xbox, PS5, and the Switch. It's going to be £24.99 for the standard edition, or £33.50 for the deluxe edition, which will include access to the first DLC expansion, the digital comic book, and the soundtrack. Sinking Eternity is a first-person underwater exploration RPG, and this one definitely gives off strong Subnautica vibes. You'll be diving into extreme depths, managing survival, hiding from dangerous sea creatures, and trying to uncover the secrets of a civilization that's been lost for thousands of years. From what I played of the demo on the channel last year, I really enjoyed it, and it already had that same appeal of slowly going deeper, getting more curious about what's down there, while also getting slightly more nervous the further you go. And just as I was getting to the end of it, the demo finished, so I'm eager to jump back in. If they can keep that atmosphere and sense of discovery strong, this could turn out really nicely. There is that demo available right now on Steam if you want to try it for yourself. It had a different approach to crafting and building, where you have like set locations you can build and use as a base, and then work out from there to explore the ocean below you. Curious how it all comes together and what the narrative is, as well, as I didn't get to see too much of that in the demo, but I'm really intrigued. Sinking Eternity releases on the 16th of April to Steam, and there's no price currently at the time of recording. This is SpaceSlog. It looks like RimWorld. It acts like RimWorld, and at first glance, I thought it was RimWorld. But SpaceSlog is set entirely in spaceships, where you're managing a crew, building systems, and trying to survive out in space. You'll be expanding your ship, dealing with threats, managing resources, and trying to keep everyone alive while traveling through different situations. Like RimWorld, it's ensuring strong mod support, taking plenty of feedback from the demo that's available and pushing updates out already, and the game isn't even released yet. If you like colony management or simulation games, this looks like it could be a really interesting one. SpaceSlog releases on the 17th of April on Steam. There's no price currently for this one yet. Tides of Tomorrow is a first-person adventure set on an ocean world where exploration and survival seem to be the main focus. From what's been shown so far, you'll be traveling between different locations across the water, meeting characters, uncovering the story, and trying to figure out what's really going on in this strange world. It looks like one of those slower-paced, story-driven games with a strong atmosphere, and the demo that's available now gives a good idea of the tone they're going for. Visually, it has a really nice style as well, with that slightly surreal sci-fi look that makes it stand out a bit from the usual survival games. The main hook here is that you'll pick a friend, a random online or a pre-made story beat in the game itself, and your story in the game will be affected by their choices of the person who came before you, just like theirs were affected by the person before them. This leads to a variety of dialogue options, multiple playthrough opportunities, and a unique way of handling a narrative without it being co-op or multiplayer focused. As mentioned, you can play fully offline still. You don't need to connect with your friends or anything like that or follow any randoms. They will give you some pre-made story characters instead if you choose that, and then those will have predetermined outcomes and choices that they made as well. But if you're playing this with any buddies, like anyone who else has got it as well, you can link up and follow what they've done, and their story will affect yours, or vice versa. Tides of Tomorrow releases on the 22nd of April to Steam, Xbox, and PS5. While there's no price confirmed yet, there is a demo available on Steam right now if you're interested in checking it out and seeing how it plays. Masters of Albion is the newest game from Peter Molyneux, the creator of Black and White and Fable. So that alone is probably enough to get a lot of people curious, and maybe just a small hint of skepticism of the scope and promises in this game perhaps. If you know, you know. The game looks like it's going back to that god game simulation world building style that Molyneux is known for, where you guide a world rather than just control one character. What we've seen so far, you'll be building up a town, managing people, and shaping the world around you, with the choices you make affecting how everything develops over time. You'll build entire towns, defend it against wild creatures and enemies, dig for buried treasure, rain down terror, and complete quests to unlock further upgrades and treasures. Masters of Albion releases on the 22nd of April and is currently planned for Steam. There's no demo or price details confirmed at this time. Outbound is a survival exploration game where you build up a mobile base and travel across the world, gathering resources, crafting upgrades, and slowly expanding what you can do. The big twist here is that your base is also your vehicle, so instead of building in one place, you're constantly moving and adapting as you explore new areas. You can also play this up to 4 players in co-op, and the roof of your caravan opens up to create these massive bases with loads of options and customization, and then it all folds and packs away when you're ready to drive off to your next location. Has a really relaxed look to it. Still trying to keep that survival gameplay loop, but looks like it's trying to dial it down to a bit more of a cozy vibe. There is a demo available right now if you're curious and you want to see how it feels before release and if it's one for you. It does look really cozy, like I said, not one of those that's teeming with combat or enemies, but more about trying to keep your vehicle sustained, running on eco power, and exploring the diverse biomes on offer across the epic road trip. Plus, it looks like you can have a pet dog and they can ride shotgun. The launch price is set at £19.99 with a 10% discount at release, which makes it sit nicely in that indie survival price range. Outbound releases on the 23rd of April, and it's coming to Steam first, with console versions planned shortly after. Project Vesperi is a first-person sci-fi puzzle adventure / narrative that started out as a college project, which is always a cool thing to see when something like that turns into a full release. The game focuses on exploration, solving environmental puzzles, and uncovering what happened in this mysterious facility with a strong emphasis on atmosphere and storytelling. I played the demo for this on the channel before last year, I believe it was, and really enjoyed it. It had that classic indie sci-fi feel, but was focused on narrative and mystery and giving the player choices of how the dialogue proceeds, similar to what you'd see in like an RPG like Mass Effect or something like Life is Strange. Pretty interesting setup, and the demo left us on a little cliffhanger, so I'm actually really looking forward to picking this up and seeing how the game has progressed when it releases on the 24th of April. There is a demo available right now if you want to try it out for yourself, and it's coming to PC via Steam. There's no price for this one at this time. Originally this one was said to be free, but I think it's evolved into a fully fledged game rather than a college project now, so now going to be a paid indie title, which honestly does make sense if the scope and size have increased. Looking forward to it. Will Follow the Light is a first-person exploration adventure set in the frozen north, where you're traveling across the environment trying to uncover the story while dealing with the harsh conditions around you both on foot and on a boat. From the demo, this felt very focused on atmosphere, mystery, and puzzles with a slower pace and a big emphasis on the world itself rather than any combat. I covered the demo for this on the channel before as well and really liked the vibe it had. It gave me strong Firewatch and Still Wakes the Deep style energy, but the setting and the mystery are the main reason you keep going, and it looks like that full game is expanding on that quite a bit. Very strong narrative as well. I like the characters and the bit of introduction to those that we got to see in the demo, and that demo is still available right now if you want to check it out before release. Will Follow the Light releases on the 28th of April on PC via Steam. There's no price confirmed yet at the time of recording. Next up, we have some DLC coming out that you may be interested in. Soulmask Shifting Sands is the first major expansion for the survival sandbox Soulmask, and this one is leaning heavily into the Egyptian myth and alien technology theme. The expansion introduces a brand new region inspired by ancient Egypt, where you'll be using masks of gods like Horus, Anubis, Sebek, and Ra to unlock new abilities, along with the anti-gravity technology that lets you build and pilot flying ships. Alongside the paid DLC, Soulmask itself is also leaving early access and moving into its full 1.0 release at the same time, so there's going to be a big free update coming as well with new features and improvements to the base game. Soulmask Shifting Sands releases on the 10th of April, no price confirmed yet, the base game will be required, and it's coming to PC via Steam. Diablo 4 Lord of Hatred is a full expansion for Diablo 4 that continues the story and adds a lot of new content, including a brand new campaign where you face the primeval Mephisto, 2 new classes, the Paladin and the Warlock, and a new region called Scovus to explore. There are also a number of gameplay changes coming with this expansion, including updates to the endgame, new item systems, set bonuses, and additional activities. This looks like a pretty big update overall rather than just a small content pack. The price does reflect that as well. There are free editions available at launch, with a standard edition at £35.99, this is DLC remember, the deluxe edition at £54.99, this is DLC remember, and the ultimate edition at £79.99, with the higher tiers mostly adding cosmetics, mounts, and extra in-game items rather than any gameplay changes. I'm not gonna lie, £80 for a DLC is absolutely wild, but go off, I guess. Diablo 4 Lord of Hatred releases on the 28th of April for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox. Deep Rock Galactic Survivor is getting its first major expansion called Heavy Duty, arriving alongside a free update that also adds new modes and features to the base game. The big addition here is a brand new class called the Demolisher, which is built around a fully weaponized industrial vehicle called the Rock Dozer. Instead of just fighting enemies on foot, you're literally driving through swarms and flattening them. The expansion will also include additional features that haven't been fully revealed yet, so it sounds like there's more coming than just the new class, plus the free update at the same time should make this a pretty good moment to jump back in if you've been playing Deep Rock Galactic Survivor already. The Heavy Duty expansion releases on the 30th of April on Steam, and we know it will be a paid DLC, but they haven't confirmed the price at the time of recording. Honestly, I normally have some playtests here, but I haven't really seen any at the moment, or any that have been announced, so we're going to go straight to the outro. That's everything coming in April 2026, and to be fair, it's already a pretty packed month as it is, and that's all the things that caught my eye. Obviously, there's many other games as well. These are mainly ones that are coming out on PC. There is the big release for Sony, which is the Saros, which is like from Housemarque, who made Returnal, but that is with Sony's new policy now that PlayStation 5 games or story games won't be coming to PC anymore, which is a big shame. But I guess they see Steam as a bit of a player competitor now in the market. So as always, like I said, there are way more games releasing than I can realistically cover in one video. This should give you a good idea of what's worth keeping your eye on and adding to your wish list and that kind of stuff. I do have a Steam curated page as well. I'll leave that linked below. There's also a link to Loaded if you want to pick any of these up and you see any of them with their keys on there. That is always muchly appreciated and supports the channel. But to be honest, this month it was so hard to narrow down and trim titles out the list, so I appreciate you bearing with me and still being here at this point. For me personally, Aphelion, Road to Vostok, Sinking Eternity, and Cthulhu, the Cosmic Abyss, they're probably the ones I'm most interested in, but I'm all over these, to be fair, so really looking forward to covering a few of these and as much of these as I can, really. Let me know in the comments which games you're looking forward to the most, and if there's anything coming this month that I missed that you think should be on the list. And if you enjoy these monthly roundups, make sure you're subscribed, because I do one of these every single month, along with demos, first impressions, and full Let's Play playthroughs of some of the most interesting new releases. That's what we do here: explore new indie games and explore new worlds. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and drop a comment below for the algorithm. It's much appreciated, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.